Okay, this is the home screen on Genelines, and our purpose today is to basically show how you would make a chart showing the common ancestors. We're going to pick two people that we know already have common ancestors, and that would be David Alden and his wife. So we click down to where we find David Alden. There's quite a number of people on here because I have some 7,000 names in this file. So there we find David Alden right there, and we know that he is the 1727 version. So we do a direct line back to, and we can pick on this chart here, someone that we know to be a common ancestor, and in this case it's John Alden's son, Joseph Alden, and we say OK, and we end up with a screen that shows now Joseph Alden in here. And what I like to do is to just add a name in here, so I click on an open space and end up with this, and it says add life bars. Okay, so we'll add a life bar, and then we'll find David Alden's wife that we happen to know is Lucy Thomas. So we click down to find Lucy Thomas, and at this point, there being so many names on here, it's hard to find Thomas. There we go, there's Thomas. And we come up with Lucy right there. We click on Lucy and say OK. And now it wants to expand the thing, so we say yes. That will now bring up the chart. We have Lucy Thomas on here. I don't know where that Ann Tilden came from, but anyway, we have Lucy Thomas on here, which we're going to click on. First of all, you saw how I brought the line down and highlighted it just by running the cursor over the bar. We've highlighted that. Now we're going to find the pedigree chart here. So we're going to put her pedigree chart on, and we're going to merge it. So when we merge it, here's her pedigree chart, and we can see now that there are two descendants from Mary Simons and Joseph Alden, for actually both of them. So let's click in an open area here for format, and take the links and make the links black so we can actually see them. And I click OK. And links. Oh, wait a minute. OK. All right. Now this OK. All right. That makes the links show right up. And we can see the nibs that there are two nibs on Mary Simons, which indicates that there are two descendants, common descendants on here. And if we come all the way down to the bottom here, and we find Nicholas, we're looking for Nicholas Phillips right there, and we say, okay, he has two nibs. Why don't we show two nibs? Because we have Hannah Phillips. But anyway, okay. So anyway, so now we have to just reduce this thing down to where the computer is slow. What's going on here? Anyway, okay. So now the best way to reduce this down is to pick the people that we know. So take Joseph Alden here and Mary Simons, and let's change their color. So we click on the thing and put format, and up comes life bars, color here, and multiple colors here, but we're going to make them all yellow. OK, and then OK, and no, we don't want to change the links because that keeps the color where we can see it. Okay, so now we have David Alden and Lucy Thomas, and we have only this line here, and we can take all these people that are directly involved with Joseph Alden and change their color so that they will stand out. So we pick on color in the fill, And we change them to yellow also. And go OK, OK, and no. Now we have this line that shows all the way down to David Alden as being from Joseph Alden. And we can follow down this link bar here all the way to John Alden. Okay, he's a yellow one. So we click on that and format, fill, and yellow. Okay, okay. Now, okay, that comes up now that John Alden is yellow, and happens that Mary Alden is also Alden, so we'll make her yellow. And we'll make her yellow. Okay. Okay. No. Now, this is still confusing, so let's go through and get rid of a whole bunch of people that are of not part of this chart. So we just highlight a bunch of people and hit delete. Bingo, they're off the chart. Yes. So they're now off the chart, and to reduce the size of the chart, we'll just highlight a bunch of them up here and bring them all down. That makes the chart smaller. Then we'll take all of these other people in here that are not part of the chart, and we'll delete them. Okay, these people, we didn't delete these two. Let's get these off of here. And then Noah Thomas is not really part of the situation here, so let's change him to Phil, and let's make him gray, just not important. Then we find down here, first of all, let's bring these down so the chart's smaller. So we highlight everybody, click on one of the in the middle here, and bring them all the way down. And we have by the way, I just put in the middle of the names, when the people are immigrants, I put in a bracket and a letter in the middle that indicates where they came from and whether they were on board the Mayflower. EMF means they were on the Mayflower. We can leave them in there, or we can take them out, one or the other, because they're not directly the common ancestor. They are common ancestors, but they're not the ones that are closest. Now we have down here all of these people that are also not directly involved, even though they are common ancestors, but we'll take them out. And then we can bring this whole thing down again, keep making it smaller. Then we find down here this Nicholas Phillips. Where's Nicholas Phillips? Hannah Phillips. Nicholas Phillips. He's the other common ancestor that we're trying to work with here. So we're going to take all of the Phillips lines here and highlight them to a different color. Multiple. And let's make them a purple thing that stands out so that we can see them. And we did change that, okay. Now, these are people that are directly involved but not So let's delete them. And Ebenezer White, even though he was in the expedition to Canada in 1690, we don't need him any more than a gray. So we'll leave him up here as a gray person. And just to make the chart smaller, let's take off the so we have deleted those. Okay, now we can bring this up by highlighting it and then just moving it up, and the chart's a lot smaller. And Sarah Chandler, let's get them off of here. Here's another EMF, which is another person on the Mayflower. And Sarah Chandler, she's a mother in that family, so change her to gray. I'll leave them on just for the sake of chart. And we can move John Alden up into this space here. And we can move this one up closer. Is there room in there? Nah, not really. Why not? Move her up there. And move these down just a little bit. That means more space in there. And we can make Mary Alden up here close, and then we can move Ebenezer White and all of these people up closer like that, and then we can move all Elizabeth Houston, who was Nicholas Phillips. Okay, bingo. There's our chart. And now we see that David Alden and Lucy Thomas both have ancestors that make them actually second cousins both ways when they got married. And to prove that they got married, let's add another life bar on here. Let's put their daughter on here. She was in Alden, Lydia Alden. Too many names on here. By holding down the button, it moves up. You can watch the names as they change. Here we go, John. Lydia Alden right there. Click on her, click OK. And now we're going to have to expand the chart, do that. And there's Lydia right there, and she shows that David Alden married Lucy Thomas and had a daughter, Lydia Alden. Now, this whole chart shows dates starting in 1560, going all the way up to 1840. The 1560 was on here for some people that we no longer have on the chart. Now, most people that are playing with genealogy have a idea of keeping the ancestors to the right and the person that you're interested in to the left. So we have down here the ability to simply click reverse orientation, and that turns it around now so that all of the ancestors are on the right and the youngest person is on the left. Dates on the bottom and the top still stay the same, where you've got the oldest date to the right and more recent to the left, which peels backwards when you're talking dates, which is why Genelines basically starts on the left and goes to the right on dates. and all the bars show dates. Okay, and then to get out of here.
I have a question, if you're at a good stopping point.
Okay.
So this is an example that you understood the family history. This is an example you've been working with for a long time. So you kind of knew which common ancestors were and could color them appropriately. If you're working with a family tree where you don't know the family as well, how do you use this to determine common ancestors? Like, what are you seeing when you're making those colors?
Okay. That's actually, we can do that two ways. One way is, first of all, Genelines, you cannot enter any names into Genelines. You have to have some sort of other format, either Family Tree Maker or PAF or several others, Legacy or these are the old names. I don't know if they're still available or not. I use Family Tree Maker, and that can show me exactly where, who's related to whom. I won't bother here. Through Genelines, we can do that simply by going back to the home here at, oops, I turned it on. Okay, going back to home, starting a new chart. We'll dump this whole one because we now have it recorded. So we'll dump this, go back to the home chart, and we know we were going to look to see if one of our ancestors, David Alden, which we have heard that he's married his cousin and whatever. So we'll just pick on David Alden, and now we'll do a pedigree. So we click on pedigree. We don't need 12 generations. All we need is about 5. So we'll change the generations down to 5, and we'll show dates just because we don't need any of this other stuff. And we'll click OK, and bingo, up comes his entire ancestry. Now to make the chart smaller, we'll go to Format, and where it says Spacing, we'll drop it down to something very small like 0.02, and click OK. That will now make the chart much less high, because we have to be careful here, because if we go over 25 feet of chart, the computer won't allow it. There's a Adobe print format that limits the length that we can do for 25 feet. Okay, then we add the other life bar here. So we add life bar, and we go find his wife, again, Lucy Thomas, which we know from history, but we can prove it here. And it's not quite answering your question, but it's close, because we can pick anybody that we want to see if there are. Here's Lucy Thomas, so we know that particular one. Okay, so we'll go there. Expand life bar, yes. Now we have both of these ancestors on here, and we can look very carefully. And first of all, let's do this bit of filling the life bars so you can see them, make them black. Okay, okay, and then wait a minute, that was a mistake.
I can edit out the mistakes, so don't sweat it.
Yeah, okay, let's go back here. Format, what did I do? I took fill, okay. All right, we're going to make them all something light. Something light like this, okay. There, now we're back to it. Now let's change the links to black so I can see them. And let's put the links on top so they stand out. That just allows them to cross through the lines. Now we can look very carefully. We have to do a manual search and see if we can find any person in here that has dual Oh, I've got David Alden on here. Here's Lucy Thomas. All right, I have to do Lucy. Get Lucy on here. Okay. Now we'll merge her pedigree. And we have to do the same thing here. Put the links as black. And then, okay. And links on top. Okay, that puts all the links on top so we can actually see them. Now we're just going to do a manual review of everything here and find any place where there are the link nibs dual on any particular bar. Because that right here we have Alice Jane Phillips has 2 nibs right there. So we know that that is a common ancestor. That's how we would identify it.
Okay.
And then we can go from there to the other line. The other way to do it is to take let's go back now here, and let's take another person here, and let's pick on George Herbert Walker Bush right there. Bingo. Okay. Let's do a pedigree for George Herbert Walker Bush. Let's do more than that. Let's do 10. If you have more than 10 or less than 10, it doesn't care. It'll truncate and do whatever it wants to do. Then, okay, we've got that in there. All right, let's go pick somebody that we know. Let's see. Let's do just as a guessing. Let's add a life bar here, and let's whoever got on here and go one at a time. That would help you find them. So I just added Stephen Cross. And we're going to do a pedigree for him, and then we're going to merge that. And again, format, spacing, 0.02, okay. That shortens the chart down to where we can see it. And then again, links on top. Again, format, links, black, okay, and bingo, up we come with this, and lo and behold, all right. So Stephen Cross was not a descendant of, or a common ancestor, have a common ancestor with George Walker Bush. Okay. So I do see a name in here, this Samuel Herrick. So what I can do is do a chart on there and do a family group, which would be full. Let's do it just as descendants. Let's see if that'll fit. Chances are it won't. And 6 generations. Let's merge it. We don't have a lot of choice. Stephen Herrick. Okay, let's try him. How about that? Now we have Stephen Herrick as a descendant of Samuel Herrick, and Daniel Herrick who is an ancestor for George Walker Bush, whereas Stephen Herrick comes all the way down and happens to pick up well, you can keep doing this, and then you'll end up with finding some other people. I recognize now that there's an Austin Herrick on here that is an ancestor of somebody I know, so we could actually put that back. But you can find, just keep playing games with this, because here's dual nibs on Marjorie Quick. I don't see any other dual nibs, but you keep looking for dual nibs and you'll find the ways of getting these people. But it's so much faster, though. I'll put it on here. Somebody can delete it if they would want. But I do have the Family Tree Maker on the computer here. So this comes up with this, and we see Lucy Thomas here, and we've gone through previously and made Lucy Thomas green, David Alden red, and we find all of these ancestors here that have both colors on them, so we know that they're common ancestors. So we can do that in Family Tree Maker. We can also go through, can add up to 4 colors on here, and then go back down through and find out how many times people are related to people all over the world. And it's amazing how many people actually marry their cousins and don't know it.